MMA
So we live, Mr. Eddie Bravo. Thank you so much, man. I'm a big fan. It's awesome to have you here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
I see the guys are cleaning the mats down there. Look at that. Nice and clean.
We're Rona free, baby. You don't mess with that Rona here.
No shit, right?
Nuh-uh.
How we doing, man? It's crazy times now, right? I'm in New York. We were texting yesterday, and like I said, like I'm on a hot spot apparently right now.
Oh yeah, everybody's dying out there, man. People are on the streets, falling over, dying everywhere.
I'm not sure about
Millions
that. It's scary because you don't know who the fuck's telling the truth. You know, it's coming from so many different sources. My father is a doctor in Brazil, and he say, look, if you can't avoid like fucking around people, do it. Just stay home if you can. You know, it's like nobody knows for sure what's going on. So just I'm not sure about lockdown, but if you can avoid. It's like, all right. He's he's working.
I think H1N1 had something like 12,000 deaths, and there was no lockdown.
And that's every year too, right? Like we'll have it again every year.
This one seems to be really political. They're trying to kill Trump's economy. So, every couple years there's a new pandemic, but they never go as far as this one. They locked down the world. They changed the world. But when you do the science, is math considered science? Math?
Like a jiu-jitsu mat?
No, math. Like mathematics.
Oh, mathematics. Yes. I think it's hey, that behind you there is where you get some of the best science.
We've had almost 30,000 people die of the flu since January 1st, and it's totally normal. And by the end of the year, it's going to be like 80,000, and that's totally normal. Every year, 80,000. So when you look at the numbers, when you look at the mathematics, and then you look at the fact that the flu is crushing, it's murdering Corona. Corona's a little bitch compared to the flu.
Yep.
The flu got 30,000.
No shit.
30,000 deaths. Corona got 400 or 500. That's nothing.
Yeah. No, you're right. And
flu is hating right now.
But
the flu is mad.
Just on that Trump thing, I don't think it's exclusively to Trump. I think it's more of like because Brazil is in the same shape. The president Bolsonaro, which is like a badass right side guy. He's like, look, you guys gotta get the fuck out. Like everybody go back to work and shit because we're gonna fucking crash if you don't. It's like what's going on?
Yeah.
So so you're saying the elderly might die, so keep the elderly home and everybody else go back to work. Is
that what they just did?
Yeah, yesterday.
When did they do that? They did that in Brazil?
Well, the guy's trying to, but now they're fucking crucifying him.
Yeah, because it's really easy to make that look like the wrong thing.
That's what they're doing.
Everybody's going to die now.
This guy, it's having like some notorious fight with like the biggest TV channel in Brazil, Globo, which is, you might be familiar, that's the company who owns Combat. The fighting channel, it's owned by Global TV, which is like it's not a cable TV, it's a open air TV. Will be like, I don't know, like CBS, Fox here, but they have like everything. It's not just news. They do all kinds of entertainment and live show. It's like a 24-hour channel with different stuff going on. There's news, there's the soap operas and movies and shit. So and they control the news in Brazil pretty much. They I don't know, they get like 60-70% of the audience in Brazil. So it's pretty much whatever they put on the news, that's what's going on in the country. So
do you guys have a president like Trump that's that ran on anti-corruption?
Oh yeah, big time. This guy got elected over that because we had so much problems with this party that's called PT. In Brazil, that was the guy Lula, which got really popular and really famous, like a blue collar kind of guy, and but he was a freaking thief, like everybody else. He made fucking billions. And they stole billions, and for the last 16 years, that what was going on in Brazil, like 2 terms of this guy, and then 1.5 terms because they impeached the girl, the woman Dilma, but she was like his right arm. So now this guy came, Bolsonaro, say, look, super honest, very radical, like let's put guns outside. Everybody should have the right to own a gun. And,
oh, really?
Oh, yeah, wow. It's fucking crazy.
It sounds like there's a trend going on worldwide where the presidents are running on anti-corruption, you know?
Mm-hmm. So this TV Global channel, they went hard on him. Like everything, it's about him, and he was funny actually because during the campaigns, he went live on Global because they had all the candidates running for president in the on the 8 o'clock news kind of thing, the prime time, right? So he went live and he told the guys, he's like, I'm gonna fucking shut you guys off because last year you guys took like $4 billion from the government just to keep running. So I'm not giving you this money. You're gonna have to figure out what you guys gonna do. And they cut him off the air. He was fucking fun. So they hate him. Huh?
That's crazy.
Crazy, right?
The people like him though, huh?
The people like him, but they kind of make it seem like they don't. Right? So yeah, it
sounds like what's going on here.
Just right here, it's the same. It's the same. It's just that he doesn't have like I think here what opens up for the criticism, me being Brazilian and living here and able to see from the outside, is just the fact that Trump had like a TV show and he was kind of like he always wanted to give that picture of the bon vivant millionaire kind of thing. So I think that opens up a lot for criticism. This guy was in politics like his whole life. So the beat up was different, but kind of the same because they say, look, you live off the government for your entire life because you've been fucking from like a congressman since you were 20. Now you're fucking 70 and you had like a public life all your life. So does their sons. One of the sons is a senator. The other one is a congressman. But they fair. They like people like them, so they trying really hard to take that guy down right now. It's kind of what's going on here.
Yeah. So the latest is really the president wants to open everything back up.
Yeah.
That's what Trump is saying. Trump is saying
that literally
stuff.
happened. It was either yesterday or the night before, and he's a big Trump fan, and they get along really well too.
They're probably coordinating opening up all at the same time.
Yes.
Trump's talking about Easter, you know, and that'd be the perfect day. Everyone go to church.
Yeah, no shit.
Praise God.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So man,
we need some God right now.
I know, right? I know.
Whether you believe in God or not, everybody needs a little bit of that. Right now.
I know. We're doing whatever we can.
Because I'm not scared of the virus. I'm scared of the way they locked us down. That's the virus I'm scared of.
Yeah, I'm scared with the aftermath, right? Like what fucking like running out of food on supermarkets. That's fucking crazy.
Or forced vaccination, that kind of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's scary. They're talking about forcing us to take a vaccine for corona, and they don't even have one. That's scary.
Yeah, no shit.
Scary.
No shit. Well, I just went through a whole bunch of that because for my green card renewal thing, I had to do all the vaccines again. You don't have a fucking choice. You either send the card showing you took all the shots, so you don't even fucking send your paperwork.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's fuck it, I'll do it. It's either that or go back to Brazil, so I'll stay.
Fuck, man.
Man, let's talk jiu-jitsu. It's kind of a shitty time now because everything's closed. What is the impact on the actual work? What do you? My biggest questions is like what if there's the right thing is like what is the right thing to do with kind of students? I think that's what everybody's thinking, right? I have a bunch of friends here with jiu-jitsu schools too, and they're like, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. I'm gonna charge them 50%. I'm not gonna charge them at all. It's like I'm gonna do some online classes, so at least I tell them I'm still teaching. Whatever.
I just froze everybody.
Okay.
I froze all my students' payments. I just froze everything. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just gonna eat it. You know, there's nothing you could do. You know, I'm just gonna eat it. I can't charge anybody. I'm not all my affiliates all around the world. I froze all their accounts too. I just I'm just gonna eat it.
Yeah,
You know?
that's fucking tough, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna lose about 100K.
I know. Well,
off this.
probably more, right? Depending on you banking
Well,
on
if we
Easter,
open
right?
back up in Easter, if we open up in Easter, you know, I'll be able to just keep going like it ain't. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna lose money no matter what.
Yeah.
I'm just trying not to think about it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Look, let's try to bring the conversation up a little bit. We start right off the bat with the corona, which is good. It's happening right now, and if we can keep people informed, it's a blessing. I had Renato Laranja yesterday, and he says hi.
I hate that guy.
Oh shit! Look, I want to talk a little bit about jiu-jitsu, how it started for you. This is going to go in Brazil. I'm going to have subtitles going on and everything. I started this a couple of years ago with Paulo Costa, the Eraser. You know the guy, right?
The fighter for the UFC?
Yeah. We started.
Oh shit, he's your buddy?
Yeah, he's my friend. So we started together right after his fight with Uriah Hall. We were talking, hey, let's do it. So he stayed at my house for like a month. So we did a bunch of episodes. He went back to Brazil. We kept going. My idea was always to do in this format, like copying Rogan and you and like Schaub's on that breakdown fight. So this podcast has like two different segments. One that I do kind of like with a guest, kind of like copying in a healthy way what the format, right? Like Rogan does, like those guys here, Opie and Anthony used to do it. Like that's how the Rogan started his, right? Over the idea from the guys here. So this is new in Brazil. People don't do that, like this just free talking format.
Really?
Yeah, they don't. So right now you have a bunch of podcasts in Brazil, but it's like radio guys or radio shows merging to the internet, and they do a radio show and they call it a podcast.
Yeah.
Or they have like a journalist say, hey, I'm going to do a MMA podcast. And they have a fighter in. It was like, oh, so how long ago did you start training? And the guy answers, it's like, oh, so what do you expect for your next fight? That's not a fucking podcast. That's an interview. So my idea was like, look, I introduced Paulo to it and say, look, listen, this is just fucking two guys talking. It's awesome. It's different. It's like, yeah, let's do it. So we did like, I don't know, like 12 episodes, and then he started camp for Romero the first time, and he got hurt. Then we stopped doing it because it just got complicated for him. So I put it on break. Now this giant TV channel in Brazil started its own podcast, and they went over like on the biggest news show. They went over like a 15-20 minute segment explaining to people how to access, where to access. Oh, you can download when you're on your Wi-Fi, so you don't have to eat your data plan and all that shit. I was like, all right, so now people know about it. It's time to come back. So I started like I pick it back up like a couple months ago. So
what's Paulo up to? He's just focusing on his fight career?
Yes, just that. It's great. He made a setup for him. Like the biggest camps have here, you know, like the city where he lives in Brazil, it's like the train goes around him. He's the only fighter on the gym. The brother owns the gym, so he brings the fighter. That's his camp. He got his own doctors and nutritionists and everything. It's a huge operation there, and
wow.
And it's working. He's very successful. It's hard for the guys to get on the level that he's at, with the training they can get without moving to like a American Top Team or Jackson's or something like that. So
yeah, it's crazy.
He managed to get that with the city's support. So the city gave the space and they built the gym and they have an octagon. It's pretty cool. He got a big camp there for him, and he flies the guy. Eric Albarracin flies from Arizona there for training and shit. And he tells me, hey, he schedules the training for 10 p.m. He shows up at 1 a.m. We start training at 3. We'll go home at 6. And when we leave, he's like, 10 p.m. tomorrow. And everybody's back at 10 p.m. He shows up at 1 a.m. and they start training at 3.
Are you a black belt too?
No, I'm a blue belt.
Oh,
I'm a blue belt. Yeah, look.
Rose didn't tell me you were a blue belt.
No shit. Yeah, Renato said that yesterday. He's like, "Oh, I wouldn't do a podcast with you if I knew you were a blue belt." Look, I trained when I was little young, like, I don't know, 12, 13. And then fucking life happened. I stopped. I was into volleyball and tennis. And
how tall are you?
6'3".
I tell all the real tall white guys here when I do seminars, if you're like over 6'6", 6'7", 6'9", every now and then I do a seminar, big tall white guy, kind of, awkward. I'm like, dude, I go, let me give you some advice. If I was you, I would go down to Brazil, go on the internet and find out where the beach volleyball community hangs out.
Yeah.
You go watch them play. You start practicing and slowly work your way in. The beach volleyball girls,
it's fucking
that's
huge.
Where you want to be.
It's
right?
huge. It's huge. It's awesome. I loved it. I played.
If you're American and you're 6'8" and you play volleyball, even if you suck, you need to go to Brazil.
Yes, for sure. But they have great volleyball here in America too. It was like, I think Brazil was very, very high level in volleyball for many years. I was almost a pro for like a matter of like 6 months. I gave up.
Really?
I gave up, and the team I was playing with became a fucking like a national phenom kind of thing. And I quit it 6-8 months before because it was just. Look, catching like fucking 2 buses to go train after school, and it was just too much trouble. And then I was like, all right.
I mean, it wasn't worth it for the girls?
No fucking girls. It's just a bunch of guys playing volleyball in a closed stadium. Not beach.
No girls.
Oh, no beach volleyball at that time. I was 16. I was playing like regular volleyball.
You gotta go back and revisit that beach volleyball, son.
No shit, right? But now I'm 40. Now it's too late.
It's never too late. You got that. You're an American citizen now.
Yeah, just go back. You're right.
You got power, kid.
You're right. No shit. But the volleyball is very popular there. You're right. It was always good. But
I'm just trying to help people out. That's all.
Yeah, but then I stopped training and fucking life happened, and then I pick up back here in New York. I lived in Massachusetts for many years, and I moved to New York now. I want to tell people from Brazil, the guys that are not like the younger generation, a little bit about that fight you had in Brazil for the ADCC and how did that go? And I heard it many times because I'm hooked to Joe's podcast and I listen to all the stories and stuff. How was that thing like going there and fucking submitting Royler and in that crowded stadium? How was this the first time that he got submitted?
I think the first time he got submitted by somebody in his own weight class. Mario Sperry submitted him, but he's like 230 pounds. So yeah, to be honest with you, I had no expectations. I was a brown belt at the time, and I was in a really depressed time in my life. I was working as a writer for a comedy show called The Man Show. It was a big show in the United States. It was on Comedy Central, and the show was shit. They treated me like shit. It was going to get canceled. I was like, fuck, I'm going to be unemployed at 33 or 32. And, but at least I thought, I was super depressed, but I'm like, at least I got this free trip to Brazil. I'm going to go get my ass kicked. But at least, you know what I mean? We get to go see those girls.
And at least I'm going to get my ass kicked by a Gracie, so it's kind of okay, ass kick.
Yeah, like I was like, I had no expectations. Like I was worried about Royler. He was a hero of mine. I used to watch Gracie in action. And I love, Royler was my favorite in those Gracie in action videos. I love Royler. You know what I mean? But I was really, really worried about Leo Vieira because the Abu Dhabi before, he had fought at the 170, like a weight class above. And he wasn't even in my weight class. He was a weight class above, and he went against my master, Jean-Jacques Machado. And Jean-Jacques, he beat his ass, but he didn't finish him. Ooh. And that spooked me. I'm like, I couldn't believe
right?
Like he survived. He survived Jean-Jacques. Jean-Jacques beat him like 9-0 or something. but he kept surviving. And I don't survive with Jean-Jacques. He owns me. He crushes me every role. So then when I heard Leo Vieira was cutting weight and coming to my division,
holy shit,
that's the dude who was scaring me. That's the dude who was scaring me. Not really Hoyler so much, even though, again, Hoyler's a legend and I didn't think I could beat him ever. But Leo Vieira is the one that spooked me. And, you know, so, but I had no expectations really anyways. I just thought I was going to get my ass kicked. I get a free trip, one last hurrah before I'm unemployed and I had to figure out what I'm going to do with my life.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was weird. It was weird as fuck because the first match I had, it was a 16-man tournament, and the first match I had was against Gustavo Dantas, which was he was also a world champion black belt. And I didn't know how I was going to do it with him. I had no idea. I'm like, okay, let's do this. All right, I'll probably get my ass kicked. So I went out there and I beat him. I got him in a rear naked choke. Yeah. And I thought, damn, okay, I could compete with these guys.
No
nice.
shit, right?
So I had my little confidence. And Hoyler was next. And then when I tapped him out, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh, fuck.
No shit. Everybody was, I think it was a big old fuck, right?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Maybe not as big because it was in São Paulo, not in Rio. Because if it was in Rio, you get the whole fucking gymnasium saying, oh, fuck.
Yeah, but, you know, I knew, like, right after I stopped crying and right after the dust settled a little bit, I'm like, oh, my God, I got Leo Vieira next.
No shit.
Oh, shit.
Now I got a chance, right?
No, I was like, no. All of a sudden, I thought, oh, my God, I'm about to experience a Twilight Zone experience where you win the Super Bowl, but then after you're celebrating in the locker room, you got to go back out and play another game.
Against the fucking dream team.
To me, I already won. I already won the Super Bowl. I just wanted to go home with that. I'm like, I'm done, son. I don't, because I knew beating Hoyler, tapping him out, meant more than winning the medal. It meant way more. So I was done. So I lost all my confidence. I was already getting sad because I knew like within 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I'm going to have to go out there and get my ass kicked by Leo. And then all this is going to be gone. It's almost like I felt like I won $1 billion and then I knew somebody was going to take it from me. I knew somebody. And so I went out there. And the craziest thing, this is the craziest thing. I was so spooked by him. I had no idea he was spooked by me. No idea.
Was it real? Of course, you fucking just beat Horn too, Hoyler.
Well, it goes further back than that. 6 months prior, I'd won the Abu Dhabi trials, the North American trials.
Okay, yeah.
And I also won the most technical fighter award in that same show. They for some reason they had a special award, most technical fighter. And not only did I win the trials, but I won that too. So Leo Vieira was there. This was in San Diego. It was 6 months before. And Leo Vieira was there. And I remember him being there. I knew exactly who he was. That's the guy that my master couldn't finish. Yeah, you know, although, again, he beat him down. He clearly outclassed him. But it concerned me that he couldn't finish him because he fucks me up every goddamn time. So he was there. And in a magazine, you know, because then he ends up beating my ass after Hoyler. But he said that, you know, when I went out there, I like when it was time to fight Leo Vieira, I'm walking out. He's sitting in lotus with his eyes closed, doing like that Hickson breathing, like, and he's like, his fingers are like this. He's doing like that yoga thing. You know what I mean? He's all meditating. Yes, he's meditating, and he's doing that Hickson breathing. And Comprito, you know, the Comprito with the green hair, the big guy? Yeah. That guy is like screaming in his ear, like, I don't know what he's saying. He's like, what is your So I don't know what he's saying, but it was something like,
go there and fuck him up.
It was something like, you could do this. He's just a man. Like, they were making me out. Because when I walked by them and I saw them preparing like that, I knew how I felt inside. Inside, I had zero confidence. And I was falling apart inside because I was going to walk through the worst possible nightmare. You win $1 billion and then you have to give it back. That's how I was looking at it. So I went out there just completely destroyed mentally. And then I see him. I'm walking out there, and he's getting psyched up. And all I remember in my head, was like, man, that is so unnecessary. You're going to whoop my ass. I was just like, you're like way overreacting over here. Inside, I'm dying. You don't need to do any of that.
That's fucking awesome.
So he ended up, so I was like really listless, and like, I was just like going through the motion. And he kept passing to my weak side. And nobody ever does that, because I always pull guard and offer people to pass on my strong side. And the way I make them take it is I say, look, you can pass this way and I won't give you a shield. Most people fight with a shield. I go, look, no shield, just get in my quarter guard. And everybody takes that. They're like, damn, that's a good deal. I would take that. I don't have to fuck with the shield. I could just get in your top half. Are you fucking crazy? That's where I fight from. That's how I fight. I fight like that every day. So it's kind of a trick. Like all my top guys, they never do that.
And you give them the position. You give them a position that they fucking fight for all the time, right? And it's like,
exactly.
Shit, this is awesome.
It's like a great position, but it's a trick, because I took that position and made it my position. So Leo Vieira never took the offer. He always passed to my weak side. Shit. And I have shitty game. Well, back then I had no game on that side, because nobody ever took that offer. But he did. He kept passing to my left. I'm like, what the fuck? Come on, pass over here. And he would not take it. So he passed my guard like 1,000 times. And every time I tried to recover, he would just back up. And then he said recently, I just heard from Lucas Lett, his top student, that he invented the leg drag on me. Like the leg drag was invented on me. Like I'd never seen it. And when you look at that match, he was leg dragging me. And I just thought, like, oh, that's a lot of people do that, I guess. I mean, I don't do it, but I guess. But it turns out that Leo Vera says that he invented that on me.
Wow.
That's not something I'm proud of.
Yeah,
he beat me like 28-0 or something like that. But the crazy thing about that is halfway through the match, he had me in side control. He had passed my guard for the 1,000th time, and he was in side control on my left side. And I woke up. And this has happened before in other matches as for purple belt, where I have no confidence and I'm freezing. I'm not doing nothing. This guy's kicking my ass. And then I go, wait a minute. What the fuck am I doing?
It's not this
snap
bad.
out of it. Right in the middle of the match, you snap out. And I snapped out of it. I was already getting my ass kicked. There was no way I was going to come back. But I thought, I got to try now. I had like some motivations halfway through the match. And I shrimped wrong to recover. I did a side control escape, and I popped a rib. And right there, I knew, like, oh, shit. Okay, I'm not now the mission is not tapping. There's no way I'm going to win, but I'm not going to tap. And then, he crushed me. And then after that, I was really sad. I was sad. I was like, I didn't even feel like I beat Hoyler. It wasn't until I got home and I started getting on the internet. And then people kept focusing on the Hoyler match.
Yeah, no shit. Like for most people, they don't even fucking remember that Leo Vieira won that shit. They just talk about your fight with Hoyler.
And then when I found out about Leo, he wrote it. He had an interview in a magazine, and he said that he had his eye on me because he saw what I was doing in the trials, and he saw that. He was talking about it. He goes, everybody passes to his right, and I decided to pass to my left. And then he had his students like Lucas Led and La Pella, like those guys. He said they would emulate my style so he was preparing for me for 6 months. Wow,
no shit.
So
that's crazy.
That made me feel a little better.
For sure.
Vieira is preparing for me. And then you look at Lucas Lett now. Lucas Lett, he's got my style. He's got that quarter guard dogfight style. You never see that. You never see that, and nobody wins championships with that except for Lucas Lett. Lucas Lett won like 6 or 7 or something like that. How many? 5-time world champion.
Wow.
And so it was very interesting how that all played out. But, I got my ass kicked. I was depressed. I got back home. It seemed like more people were focusing on the Hoyler match, so I decided to quit my comedy job, my comedy writing job, at Comedy Central.
This is pretty cool because I knew you were into comedy. You do some stand up and everything. You've been doing a lot of stand up lately, right?
Yeah. I was doing stand up before.
But I never knew you were actually like writing comedy and stuff like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, thanks. So, once I got back from Brazil, I thought, I never thought I would teach jiu-jitsu. I thought I was going to just make it in music. And when I started writing for Comedy Central, I thought, okay.
Pretty good gig.
I thought I could parlay my music into it. I go, okay, we're going to turn to me and Joe, because me and Joe Rogan were working together. And I thought, okay, we're going to blow the show up, and then we'll start writing movies, blow movies up, and then I'll sneak in my music that way.
And so Rogan was super famous at the time too, right? Like he had a TV show or the.
Oh yeah, he was doing Fear Factor. It was right in the middle.
Fear Factor, yeah, no shit. I wasn't here for that, but people still fuck. I believe it or not, I say, hey, Joe Rogan, the UFC guy is like, no, the Fear Factor guy is like, oh fuck yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was right in the middle of all that. We went to Brazil while he was working for Fear. He had to take a week off. Or like 4 days off or something like that. Yeah. So when I got back, a friend of mine said, hey, dude, people are talking about that Hoyler match, man. Awesome. It's time to, you fucking hate your job. Why don't you just quit your job? I'll front you money to buy mats, and we'll just open up a fucking school. And I did it. I quit.
Who said that to you?
I quit. A friend of mine.
Okay.
A friend of mine. Yeah. And before all of that, before I went to Brazil, there was this dirty boxing gym called the Bomb Squad. And I was a brown belt at the time. It was before Abu Dhabi. And the owner asked me if I wanted to teach some jiu-jitsu there. And I thought, who's going to want to learn from a brown belt Mexican guy? You know what I mean? We have all these, there were so many Brazilian legends, like Jean-Jacques and Hickson. They were all around. I'm like, yeah. And I declined. I'm like, it would be a complete disaster. No one's going to want to learn from a Mexican brown belt. Back then, there wasn't that many jiu-jitsu schools back then. There was very few. Yeah. It's not like today.
Yeah, well, the past 3 or 4 weeks I had Master Horian. I had today we just aired the episode with Higgin. We have Master Hickson is scheduled. Hopefully this week, if not next week. That's an accomplishment.
Damn, Rose hooking it up.
No, Hickson is not Rose. She hooked up. No. So I was there last year.
Rose is the most great. Rose is the most Gracie out of any Gracie ever. You know that?
Yes.
She has Gracies on both sides of Gracie.
Yes, I know.
Think about that.
I know that. That's crazy, right?
Yeah, and, she's Helio side and Carlos side.
I actually met Rose, never met her in person. We start chatting when we talked about bringing her father to the podcast. So I did one episode with Master Horian, and we were like, he loved it because I just did like we do, like we just sit and talk, and I explain to him and say, look, this is like, I don't have any questions. I kind of show him like a tour guide kind of thing. I say, this is what I want to touch. The subjects that I want to bring it up, UFC and bringing jiu-jitsu to America and stuff like that. And then Gracie Mastermind, which is his latest project. Amazing project, by the way. And he was like, oh, okay. But he was very like stiff and like focused on an interview. And when I did not do an interview, at the end, we did almost an hour talking, and he flies through the whole script with like a true master, right? Like the jokes and everything. He did it so many times, but it still makes it entertaining. So at the end, I kind of brought it up to him. I said, look, this is the perfect format because it's just like two friends talking. Like if I go to your house and say, let's grab dinner and we sit at a table, we're just going to talk. I might talk shit and you might call me up, but still, it's just talk. I don't have anything ready. I'm not going to take a fucking notepad and read shit to you. And he loved that. He's like, oh my God, this was so good. After the podcast, right? He's like, oh, you are a very, very good interviewer. I was like, well, because I'm not really fucking interviewer. I have zero background in fucking news or journalism or anything like that. And he liked it so much that we decided to do one in English. So we did another one the next day in English. So I have 2 episodes with him, and that's when we started talking to Rose. And but the Rickson story is last year, I was there for Paulo's fight against Romero. It was my birthday, the UFC. It was August 17th. That's my birthday. And I did a private with Rickson that week. And
how much did he charge?
No, Renzo made the connection, so I just got the good experience.
Yeah, that's like at least $1,000. At least.
I don't know, man. I didn't even ask in case he decided to charge me. It's like, oh shit, I forgot.
Were you like at the end of that was an offer? At the end, when you guys were like,
look, you were talking about an out of body experience. You think about an out of body experience like you ring a doorbell, right? And the door opens up. It's Rickson, only wearing gi pants, no shirt. He looked at me, and I'm fucking freaking out. It's fucking Rose Gracie, right? And I shake his hand and say, "Hey, master." He's like, "Hey, I'm Rickson." I was like, I know that. I said, "No shit." I said, "No shit, you're Rickson." Then he started laughing. I was like, "All right." So, and then like the freaking, it was like the days before, it was amazing because he was texting me. I was like, the first day I got a text from Rickson. I was like, oh, I told my wife, I was like, oh shit, I got that Rickson Gracie. And she's just looking at me. She's like, she doesn't fucking know. She's like, oh, okay, yeah. It's like, you have no idea. And I keep reinforcing, right? It's like, you have no, it's like fucking Brad Pitt's texting you right now. She's like, oh, okay, I can make the connection now. So he wanted to know what was the, like, what do you want to accomplish here? I was like, say,
man, you said it just like him. You sound like
accomplish. Yeah. Right?
This. Like you just this.
Invisible. And then he goes and I was like, because I kept thinking, I said, so Renzo made the connection. So Renzo probably say, hey, I got one of my students here. He wants to do a fucking private with you. Make it happen or something, whatever, right? And so he's thinking I'm some fucking Gordon Ryan level guy, right? So he's like, so what are you trying to do? What are you trying to learn? Are you going on competition? I say, master, I'm a fucking blue belt. I want to learn the shit, like the basic. So I want to go as low as we can from the start, and you show me whatever you can in that hour, like I never fucking stepped on a mat before. He's like, all right, so it will be my pleasure to show you the invisible jiu-jitsu. And it was fucking awesome. We did like 40 minutes of breathing, just showing me how to breathe and like make notes. Go make stop. Say, did you get that? He explained. He'll tell me a bunch of stuff. He's like, you understand that? I was like, yeah, master. He's like, all right, so stop, go write it down. And come back. I said, okay. So I go there. I sit on a corner, just missing the head, right? Like writing it down. It's like, master, what did you call that? It's like, oh, I called this. I said, all right, I'm writing it down, master. And he was the nicest experience ever. Look, Rose is calling. Let's get Rose Gracie on the call. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
Is the screen going to pop up for her too?
Yeah, let's see. Merge call. Let me see. Rose, you there? Oh shit! I missed her call. No, she's there.
Oh, shit.
Hey!
Oh, Rose.
Hi.
Look at you all dolled up.
I have to. I had to take
it. All the Hollywood actresses, they ain't putting on no makeup. Have you seen Ellen DeGeneres? You ain't putting on no makeup. I don't give a shit right now.
Not me. I sent Hafa a picture of me this morning. It wasn't very good, right, Hafa?
No, it was great. No, I'm not gonna show him. Show him
a picture I sent of me this morning.
Is there a way for you to lower your microphone a little bit?
Is this better?
Let me see. Talk a little more.
Is this better?
Yeah, it's much better.
Perfect. That means I took out the stupid thing that you tell me to put on. That's how we made it work. Show Eddie the picture this morning I sent you of myself. He's like, you want to do the editing? I was like, I don't think I'm ready. I'm going to send you a picture of myself right now and see what I look like.
Oh, no. Nice. Have you seen my avatar picture for Skype?
Yes, no shit. That's scary.
Look, it's Michael Jackson at his worst.
I have
makeup.
Like
a Michael Jackson, like after he fucked 100 kids on MDMA, on meth. That's what it looks like.
There's this
Maybe you want to edit that out.
There's this great meme on the internet. There's this couple who fucking killed a kid in Brazil, right? So it was like mother and father. It was a horrible crime. And then so I got this meme. It said on a scale, and on the left side was Michael Jackson, and on the right side was this couple. I say, how much do you like kids?
Can you put my avatar up on the screen so
I can try. Let me see. Hold on.
Let me see.
I don't think.
Maybe you got to snapshot it.
Yeah. Let me figure. I'm gonna log in on the other Skype here. Hold on.
Today or what?
I'll make it work.
Hell yeah.
Or you living there now since you've been at home for so long?
Hey, we ain't got no Rona here. Ain't no Rona here.
Did you just hang out at the
Rona's over there at Gracie Baja. That planet ain't got no Rona.
Yo, since you're on the podcast, did you see the Gracie Baja weed?
What was that?
Did you see the Gracie Baja weed already?
There's Gracie Baja weed?
Have you seen it?
Nuh-uh.
Let me get it for you. Hold on.
Rose.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
That's fucking scary, right, dude? Did you saw that HBO documentary on him?
Yeah, that never. Yeah.
Did you watch that? Like Living Neverland.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It's crazy, right? It's heavy shit.
I mean, the guy. I mean, whether you think he penetrated those kids or not, who knows?
It doesn't fucking matter. He was a fucking predator.
The guy never denied sleeping with the kids. So that's all I need to know.
Yeah,
that's all I need to know. You're sleeping with these kids? And he goes, that's how you show you love them.
What is this, Gracie CBD?
Doesn't it look just like it? It's not a Gracie.
Hey, Rose, you got to admit that Gracie logo. Look at that.
It looks just like it, dude.
It is.
Right?
River Valley Sativa.
Holy shit. You should fucking ask him for copyright.
For reals.
That Gracie Baja logo can be dangerous these days. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? I've had conspiracy theorists say, dude, what's up with this? I'm like, it's just a logo. And there's people out there that really think that logo means something. You know what I'm saying?
I never heard of that.
I'm like looking at my logo. Does my logo have any weird shit in it?
Someone will probably find something.
Most logos, like for instance, I paid someone to design the EBI logo. I paid someone to design the Combat Jiu Jitsu logo. Someone else designs it. I can't do it. So maybe, if the guy who's designing the logo, is like, he wants to pull a fast one on you, he can make those logos look like anything he wants. And the consumer, myself, like, I wouldn't know, you know what I mean? So then you go back and go, oh shit, I got to change my logo. Because there's a lot of companies that change their logos because they realize their logos actually meant something dark, you know what I mean? So weird shit. Hey, it's weird shit going on right now.
Yeah, no shit. Look, can we talk a little EBI?
Sure.
Yeah.
Because I had a podcast. I don't remember with whom now, but we were talking how I remember with whom. It was with you, Grace, Rose. we had that podcast, and we were talking how EBI kind of started what. Because the whole point of the conversation was this, like 10 years ago, you wouldn't see like Gordon Ryan's making a living of fucking jiu-jitsu only, right? Either they will try to make their way into MMA, or they will open a school to make a living. And I guess it started with Metamoris. Yeah, jump in there.
I'm going to jump in right now and give you a lifeline on this one.
There you go.
What happens is, the jiu-jitsu tournaments were just horrifying. It depended who the referee was, if you're Brazilian or not. There was a lot of robberies going on. It was just absolutely, and it still goes on a little bit right now. It's pretty ridiculous. You have the advantages and you have the points and you have all that nonsense. So then there was a whole movement in the United States about the submission only movement to make sure that he's not even listening. Look at this guy. He just walked out right now. Look at this guy.
Look, it's 100 degrees in here.
All right, Rose, you're talking to the audience.
Yeah, I know. But look at it. I want him to know, so then he goes nonsense right now.
Go ahead.
So then basically, there was this whole movement in the United States about the submission only, which was really important to actually save jiu-jitsu, because jiu-jitsu was completely lost at that point. It was just gone. There's no jiu-jitsu anymore. It was a tug of war, who can grab the gi a little bit longer or faster, who can do a little move and then hold until the points come out. And hold until the winner comes out. So when the submission only movement came about in the United States, Eddie was at the forefront of the whole thing, and he was so interested in having students actually win by their skills, which was what you're supposed to have, you know what I mean? And it became a much bigger deal when he got involved in this, because it was, you know, he spearheaded the movement of making sure the submission only was a respectable deal happening in the United States, and obviously subsequently went all over the world now. So people do submission only movement everywhere. Now they're doing submission tournaments and doing that stuff everywhere in the world right now. But, you know, in the middle of all this, he needed to create a set of rules for submission only that was exciting for the students to attend, that it was exciting for the guys to compete in, and that's how EBI came about. Yeah. So he ran his first event, EBI. Another thing that he did that was phenomenal too, and I take my hat off to him, was the fact that he always included the women in all the competition. So there's every single time there was an EBI, there was always the women competing in there too, which most of the events don't do that.
Not everyone, a lot of them, but not everyone.
Most of them. You did an all women's event. Who can say that they did that? Nobody.
Now they're doing it.
Yeah.
But that's the point. Like now.
No, but you know what? Thank you very much, Rose, for that. And but you left out a big part. What the big part was, you were doing submission only. Did you do submission only before Metamoris?
The tournament was before Metamoris, yes.
So you were doing submission only before anybody, right?
Well, I was trying to figure it out, right? I was just trying to find a solution for the problem.
And the way Gracie Nationals and Gracie World started off. No, Gracie Nationals was first. It started off with the point system, but then you guys realized, you know what? Let's try submission only. You and Javi, and then you guys did Gracie World. It was all submission only. And the way you guys did it was gangster initially, because in a match, if there was no submission, they were both DQ'd, and that made for a lot of exciting matches. Because generally in jiu-jitsu, at the end of a match, if someone's ahead by points, they're going to try to stall and hold. Yep. And the guy that's behind, he's going to try everything he can to win. But it's hard to do that against a guy who's just holding. So a lot of the point system works great for when if you want to develop certain skill sets. The point system is great. Like IBJJF, that's great for developing sweeping and passing. That's great for that shit. If you want to develop sweeping and passing, put together a point system. And that's what they did. Unfortunately, the jiu-jitsu is a lot more than just sweeping and passing. There's a lot more. So that's, I think that you should do points tournaments to develop your sweeping and passing, because that's what it's mainly about. And then the submission only, it develops your submission paths and setups to submission. So when I started EBI, it was after I did Metamoris, and Metamoris had a different outlook than Rose. Metamoris was, if there's no submission at the end of regulation, then it goes to a draw. And there's some pros to that, and there's some cons to that. Some people like that better than, but the problem that I saw was you can't really do tournaments like that. You can't have a draw. How are you going to do a tournament?
Yeah, you have like 5 draws. The tournament sucks, right?
Well, if you have, a 16-man tournament, and then everybody in the first round draws, where's your tournament at? So you can't do tournaments like that. It's only good for single matches. So I thought, okay, if I'm going to put together a jiu-jitsu, because people complaining about the refs and the points, that's old shit. They were from day one in jiu-jitsu. Every tournament, like back in the day in the United States, Joe Morera was running the first tournament, and every tournament, people were pissed. I was pissed. Everybody was pissed. Every time you lost, it was the ref's bad call. It was what? I didn't get points for that, and he got points for what? How did we win? And it was madness. So that's old. Like people being pissed off at refs being biased, because every ref is part of a team, and even though the competitors that they're reffing probably aren't on their team, they're probably on teams that they don't like. And you know what I mean? So there's a lot of bias. And it's always been that way. So, and there's no way, and people got beat down over and over. There's been there's been a few tournaments like EBI, but point style. Like Hickson had one called Bushido. What's his name? From Raw. Rico Chiapparelli had Professional Submission League, and that was like EBI but with points. You just can't do points on a Saturday night. You can't do points on a Saturday night. You can't put points on TV. You can't. So
it's boring as fuck. I love jiu-jitsu. I fucking love Vale Tudo, MMA. I grew up watching that shit, and I tried so hard to watch and follow and see the matches, but you can't fucking watch. It's so fucking boring.
You just can't do it.
And
Point
then
tournaments are good.
EBI saved my jiu-jitsu because it's something fucking new. It's exciting. It's cool. Someone it's fucking winning no matter what, and you want to see that. It's awesome.
Well, originally I wanted to do combat jiu-jitsu. That's what I wanted to do, but it was hard. This was back in 2012. I actually did a couple before EBI. EBI was the backup plan. The plan was, what do I have to do with the commission to get combat jiu-jitsu regulated? Because once you start adding strikes, you got to involve the commission. And so it was, I wanted to do what I'm doing now with combat jiu-jitsu, which is basically EBI, but with strikes. It's the same exact thing. It's the same thing, but with strikes, which is better. So the commission was kind of confused initially back in 2012 there. I wanted to do it on open mats like Abu Dhabi, but I wanted to have no gloves. They said, no, you got to have gloves, and no to the open mats. It's got to be in a cage. And I was like, fuck. And then they said, we'll give you 3 2-minute rounds. I'm like, 3 2-minute rounds? What kind of match is that? And so then I fought, and they said, okay, 3 3-minute rounds. I'm like,
just go there, slap him really quick and get out.
Yeah, so that's all I can get. So what we tried it. We did a special combat jiu-jitsu match on an amateur MMA card. Like it was a University of MMA was an amateur MMA show like Tough Enough. It was kind of like that. But so I knew the promoter. He used to be a student of mine. And he said, okay, let's do a special combat jiu-jitsu match. And we did it. And it just doesn't look good in a cage. In a cage, it looks like shitty MMA. But on open mats, it looks like scary jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to sell right there. It's just perspective. And so we did a couple matches. Then I did on the next show, we did another one. Mixed reviews. I didn't like it. So then I thought, you know what? I don't want to deal with this shit. Then I went to plan B, which was submission only. Mm-hmm. And so the way I put together EBI was I did it with a sense of like complete unbiased. Like I just wanted to strip away the bias and make it all business and make it all entertainment and like put together a show like if, someone from Fox or some network said, hey, I don't know nothing about jiu-jitsu. I have no idea. I'm going to give you 1 season. If you don't get any ratings, we're going to cut the show. So that's the way I approach it. I'm like, damn. So right there, you can't bring tradition into this shit. Yeah. It has to sell. So if it has to sell, who are you selling to? You're selling to the audience. So the audience has to be the main focus, the audience, which the audience has been ignored. But, IBJJF, they don't give a shit about the audience because the audience ain't paying them. I mean, They might get $10 at the door or something, but there's like 17 people watch that shit. They're getting paid. They're getting paid by the competitors. So they got to satisfy the competitors. So everybody was ignoring the audience. So I approached it like I had 1 season, do or die. It's all about the audience. We got to strip away tradition and just make it the most exciting form of jiu-jitsu. And that's what and when it came to no submissions at the end of regulation, that was the big decision I had to make. Do I go? I can't go draws because I knew I was going to do a 16-man tournament because you can't compete with MMA shows when it comes to entertainment value output. You can't compete with the MMA show if you do single matches. If there's like a UFC like Fight Night or whatever, and they have 8 single matches versus a grappling show with 8 single matches, the MMA show is always going to win. Always. Yeah. The only way grappling can compete is that we can still do those 16-man tournaments. That's different. MMA can't do that. So at the end of the day, when you look at the numbers, you can compete with MMA shows with grappling if you do 16-man tournaments, because people get involved with the fighters that are moving through the tournament. And by the time you get to the semifinals, people really, it's like a built-in documentary. Yeah. So I knew it. That's why UFC 2 blew up. UFC 2 was the only MMA show, maybe not ever, but the only UFC that had a 16-man tournament. And that, to watch Royce beat 4 dudes and get into the finals against Patrick Smith, that nobody knew anybody. Nobody knew Royce. Yeah. Nobody knew all those guys were nobodies. But by the end of that show, shit, you knew who Patrick Smith was, and you knew who Royce fucking Gracie was, because you saw like a part of their career. That was 4 matches. Yep. So Abu Dhabi knew that shit. They put together 16-man tournament. There's magic in the 16-man tournament. That's why Abu Dhabi does it. And I'm like, I'm not trying to reinvent anything. I'm not trying to put together shows. Like, I want it totally original because I want it my way. That's not my thinking. That's failure. When you want it your way, that's failure. You know what I mean? You have to think, what is the best for the audience? 16-man is the best for the audience. But what are we going to do about the overtime? God damn. So you can't do draws. That'll kill the show. We'll get canceled. Like that dude at Fox would say, sorry, dude, we got to cancel this motherfucker right now, dude. You're having draws in a 16-man tournament? That's impossible. How do you do that? So, and then Rose had it the most gangster. If there's no submission, you're both out. But that's a problem with the 16-man tournament. There's so many problems because what if all of the first round
no final.
The show is over. You know what I had? You know what solution I had? I was going to do that for a second. It came down to what I have now with the EBI OT rounds. But before I decided on that, I thought, okay, we're going to do, because the double DQ is so gangster. I love that shit because the end of the matches look so odd. So many amazing epic matches, like the end of a double DQ submission only. I witnessed them. I was at every Gracie Worlds, Gracie National. I was right there. Like, God damn, this is so entertaining. But so this is what I was going to do. Okay, how do you do a 16-man tournament with double DQ? So this is the way I had it. You get 16 guys, and the 2 best guys, they're the 8th match, right? That's the last fight of the first round. So worst case scenario, the first 7 matches, all double DQ. That last match is like a championship. Those are the 2 best guys anyways. So it's like it turns into a main event. You know what I mean? Because whoever wins that one is the champion, right? So that was the only other solution. I'm like, fuck, maybe. But then the problem would be if they fucking double DQ. Fuck, that could ruin the show. So at the last minute, I go, you know what? I'm going to go with this other fucking weird OT system that I've been putting together. And that was the birth when I greenlit the EBI OT. And thank God I did, because I love that. Because now that we added strikes and made it combat jiu-jitsu, the overtime is exactly the same, exactly like EBI. And I think it's, there's the way I do it is so unbiased, and the refs have so little power that I ref my own guys.
Yeah.
And nobody, and their opponents, they don't care.
You ref your own show. Care. Talk about your own guys. It's like, exactly. You're there, you fucking, technically, you can do whatever the fuck you want for your own show.
But nobody complains. Easily someone would complain. If the ref had any power, I completely stripped all the power away from the ref so much that nobody has ever complained. No competitor said, dude, you can't ref. You can't ref. That's your own guy. No one's ever said that. It's basically a ref in EBI. In EBI rules, it's just like a babysitter. Like, he's like, just to make sure the guys don't get off the mats. You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't for safety please reasons. Stop biting him, kind of thing, right?
So that's pretty much it. So after I did 10 shows at EBI, I went back to the commission and I said, Can I get the rules that I want now? I mean, I can't do it in a cage. Can't do it we want rash guards, no gloves, open mats, and it looks fucking dangerous like
No
that.
shit,
But really, it's pussified MMA. It's way safer than MMA. Way safer than MMA. But when you see guys with rash guards on open mats and they're fucking smacking each other, it's fucking different. And the crazy thing about, I don't know if you're aware of this, but me beating Rose Gracie caused a lot of ruckus. I opened up immediately. I came back home, quit my job at Comedy Central, and I got my black belt immediately from Jean-Jacques, and then I opened up a school. And my fantasy, I always said when I was a blue belt and a purple belt, my fantasy was like, man, if I ever opened up a school, if for some crazy reason I don't blow up in music, that's what I thought in that small chance, if I don't make it in music, if I had to open up a school, I always said it's gonna be all no yay. I thought that was like a fantasy thing, all no gi, because we would do no gi at Jean-Jacques like Thursday night, and I could fucking wait for that shit. Oh my god! I go, fuck. What if we did this shit every day? So I was always the no gi guy at Jean-Jacques. I was the UFC fanatic. I knew everything about those first 15 UFCs. I watched them over and over and over and over again. So when I beat Royler, some American beats Royler, he opens up a school no gi. It looks like I'm it looks like I'm against jiu-jitsu to the Brazilians, but meanwhile, I'm like a no gi guy anyway. So this is jiu-jitsu. I'm not calling this 10 planet catch wrestling. It's 10 planet jiu-jitsu. It's always jiu-jitsu. I love jiu-jitsu. I'm ready to get a Brazilian flag on my back. Not on the lower back. I ain't like that, but on the upper back. I was ready to get it. I was like, Brazil's the best. They got the best food. They mastered that churrascaria. Like,
no shit, right? Yeah.
How come we didn't rip that off?
We mastered that for sure.
We should have ripped that off a lot. Can you imagine flipping burgers right at your table? You're like flipping cheeseburgers and shit. That would be awesome. But
I'm having a hard time imagining anything else but your Brazilian tramp stamp at this point.
So I went back to the commission. I said, can I do combat jiu-jitsu now the way I wanted? And they said, fuck yeah, because they all became big fans of EBI. So from that point on, the commission was like, hell yeah, they're so awesome. They've been so supportive. JT Steele, he's the greatest motherfucker out there. I love that guy. Mike Beltran, all those guys. Mike Bell, I love all those guys. Frank Trigg. So now I was like, shit. Now it's like, okay, let's do a little 4-man combat jiu-jitsu at an EBI, and we did that on EBI 11. So it was a regular EBI.
Freaking
and then we
amazing.
did a 4-man, and then everybody was screaming during that 4-man. So right there I knew, I'm like, you know what? I gotta slowly just got more combat jiu-jitsu and more. And then now I'm like, this is all I want to do. EBI was, it is EBI. People say, like, when are you going to bring back EBI? We'll bring back EBI. EBI is coming back. But meanwhile, it is EBI, but better. It's exactly the same thing. The same producers, the same graphics guy, the same director, the same company, the same format, 16-man, the same regulation round, same overtime rounds, same lighting guy, same stage. Everything is the same. Megan's still there. It's still me and Victor. It's the exact same thing. It is EBI, but better. It has strike. How could no striking jiu-jitsu be better than striking jiu-jitsu?
Look,
it's impossible. That's
to
impossible.
This day,
there's no logic. Where's the logic in that? There's no logic.
I'm so bummed out.
EBI. I'm like, it's already back. It never went anywhere. It's just better.
Eddie, to this date, I'm so bummed out that fight with Verdun and Gordon Ryan never happened.
Yeah, that would have been amazing.
Well, like, holy shit, what the hell is going to happen there?
Yeah, that would have been crazy. Maybe one day. We'll do it in Africa.
One of those guys got hurt, right? Was it Gordon got hurt or something? Yeah.
So I got to watch on November 12th, EBI. I think it was 11, if I'm not mistaken. Was that the first Combat Jiu-Jitsu on November 12th? Remember that one that my dad came to?
Yeah, I don't know which show that was. I don't remember like the actual date.
Yeah, I don't remember the number. I know 12. I think 11 or 12 was the women. I think it was right. Anyways, it was Combat Jiu-Jitsu event. It was November 12th, and my dad came to watch the show, which almost came to like a full circle. The whole fact that he just had started the UFC that same day, and we were able to watch Combat Jiu-Jitsu that same day, like a full Combat Jiu-Jitsu show. It was so beautiful to watch and participate. The thing is that for us to talk about Combat Jiu-Jitsu is one thing. For you to be there, it's like being in a UFC fight. Like, you have to be there for certain things. And to be there and watch a Combat Jiu-Jitsu live, a match, is like beyond words. I can't even say it. It is exciting. It's everything the best.
Well, thank you. You know, the weird thing about it, though, this is the weird thing is when I got back from Brazil, I opened up a no-gi school, and everybody was wondering why I was going no-gi. So in my explanations, in magazine interviews, it became a debate, the gi, no-gi debate. I started like this war, and then I became the bad guy, and a large percentage of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community, a lot of the Brazilians, they hated me. They didn't like me. They thought I was disrespectful.
They don't know you. They don't know you. I used to hate this guy like you don't even know. I wanted to see him hanging. Blood coming out of his neck.
A lot of them still hate me. But the thing is, when I put out EBI, I didn't get that much support from the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community with that. The EBI fans were more MMA fans. And the reason I didn't get support from the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community stems from all the gi, no gi debates over the last 15 years. So the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community would say, fuck EBI. They don't pass the guard. They don't mount. All they do is play footsies. That ain't real jiu-jitsu. All they do is play footsies. And, they don't pass the guard. They don't mount. And you know what? They had a little point there. But you know what? What about combat jiu-jitsu? Shit. The mount, it means a lot more now. The mount is reborn when there's strikes. Yep. So if the mount is reborn with strikes, then that must mean passing is reborn. So adding the strikes brought all the stuff back as far as importance level to jiu-jitsu.
The real jiu-jitsu has strikes. Let's not forget that.
Yeah,
exactly. And I didn't, taperia was what the Brazilians called combat jiu-jitsu back in the day when they used to slap each other and palm strike each other. So I'm like, I didn't invent it. I'm just marketing it. And so I'm a little surprised that now, now, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community, there's still like a silent boycott for combat Jiu-Jitsu.
I don't think they just don't know yet. I think most of the Brazilians, which now we're going to open the doors for them to see and understand what it is. But now, obviously, with this podcast and you talking a little bit more to the Brazilian community for them to understand and see you, because I think combat jiu-jitsu is the real jiu-jitsu. So whoever does jiu-jitsu with their gi on and honors my family and the ancestors of our lineage and whatnot, it's combat jiu-jitsu. I think my grandpa Ellie would have absolutely loved combat jiu-jitsu. I think you would have been, that's it. And he would have been making
and from what I heard too, stories like after conventional gi training, they would take the fucking the jacket off, and they will fucking do kind of like a no gi, just with the gi.
I have proof. Holly's literally fighting. I have it. I'll actually give you the clip so you can add on to our conversation in here.
Yes.
Is my uncle fighting my uncle Hazel with no shirt on, going out in the strikes and stuff. It has all part of. In the old Gracie Academy, they had boxing gloves that got old and people just threw it away and stopped training with it. But the point of the matter is this. In jiu-jitsu, you have to know where punches are coming from. And the only way to know where punches are coming from right now is training with the combat jiu-jitsu styles, training for a combat jiu-jitsu competition. That would be the way for you to know the real jiu-jitsu is all about.
Look, just show them a clip of Pride with Hicks and Gracie wearing the white Speedos and the volleyball knee pads and say, that was fucking jiu-jitsu too.
Crazy. When I got all the heat for starting my school from day one, 100% no gi. When I got the heat, a lot of people were saying that no gi jiu-jitsu isn't real jiu-jitsu. They're going, that's not real jiu-jitsu. Real jiu-jitsu is only in the gi. It's only in the gi. That's not real jiu-jitsu. So I'm like, that's ridiculous. And that means if that's true, that means that Royce is the only one who's ever done jiu-jitsu in MMA history. Hickson didn't use jiu-jitsu. Nogueira didn't use jiu-jitsu. Those guys aren't wearing a gi. So what is that? They won with submission wrestling. So that gi no gi debate is super outdated. Super outdated.
Eddie, but I'm having a Blair Witch moment right now with you walking like that.
Well, dude, he can do whatever he wants. Go ahead.
It's green screen. It's green screen. Don't even trip.
Is that flashing with you?
But now with combat jiu-jitsu, I solved all the problems that the Brazilian jiu-jitsu community had with EBI, and they had valid problems. I didn't like the fact that everyone was going footsies. I didn't really like that. That was a part that, I like the mount. I love the mount. I love guard passing. So it became not as important to pass the guard. Like, there was some, like Eddie Cummings was ripping through people. I don't think he ever passed anybody's guard. You didn't need to. You don't even need to sweep anybody. You just pull guard and you play sit-up guard and you just go for legs. A lot of guys do that. A lot of guys, they never pass, they never sweep. They just go right for leg locks. So the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community, I get it. But with combat Jiu-Jitsu, now with the strikes added, what we find out? We find out which leg locks are strike safe. There's a lot of them that will save you from strikes. Leg locks will save you from strikes. There was, all people thought before was like, oh, leg locks are dangerous when they're strikes. Some are. You got to figure out which ones are, and then which ones are good. There was a Brazilian in The Ultimate Fighter who was getting his ass beat down on his back, and he went for a knee bar just to hide. And the knee bar saved him. The guy spun out of the knee bar, and then he got his back and choked him out. So that knee bar attempt actually saved his ass from getting pounded. So you learn a lot. There's a lot of data to be collected and studied and analyzed now. So now with combat jiu-jitsu, it's not just a straight footsie war anymore. The guard pass is back. The mount is back. So it's straightened out the problems that the community had with just everyone playing footsies. Because now we know, hey, if there's strikes and you're playing footsies, then footsies is legit. The last combat jiu-jitsu worlds I had 2 weeks ago, the guy who won, he heel hooked everybody. He heel hooked all his 4 guys. So that tells you a little bit about how effective leg locks can be, even with strikes. We're finding out data. No more theories. Everyone got their theories about what works and what doesn't. Oh, that's not real jiu-jitsu. This is real. Now, all we have is hard science and data. Now, the more combat jiu-jitsu we do, and I ain't stopping, we're going to keep this doing. We're just going to compile data, and we're going to find out what the real jiu-jitsu is.
Yeah, and it's fucking exciting to watch, and it's awesome. It's awesome. You fucking I think both of you here. I think that both of you here, it's fucking responsible for everything that's going on with jiu-jitsu today, because it's exciting again. It's fun to watch. You have like, I don't know, you have on a Wednesday night, you have like a $10 pay-per-view of a super jiu-jitsu fight going on somewhere. It's awesome.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu's everywhere. And there's sub-onlys, like, man, it's everywhere. Like my association, my jiu-jitsu association, we got about 120 affiliates worldwide, and I tell them to start up a sub-only EBI rules tournament in their area. Take that area. Be the man in that area. And there's so many different tournaments. There's Olympus. There's finishers. Ultimate Mat Warriors. We got them all over the place.
This is awesome.
So, that's, and slowly they're going to start jumping over to combat jiu-jitsu too. It's just harder because once you add strikes, you got to involve the commission. Every state is different. So it's not easy. Unless you live on an Indian reservation, then you could hit each other with wrenches. So right now, combat jiu-jitsu,
EBI, and then a fucking stamp becomes like a wrench edition.
So like we
have tag teams now. There's tag teams, so.
When I did the submission only movement and I started creating the rules in here and changing them a bit, it was literally to bring back my grandpa's jiu-jitsu. And to my surprise, not surprised, but I mean, you know, I was really blown away to find out and to see how Eddie not just took over this whole thing. And what, did you not like that or what?
No, I said no more. No, we're passing the joint around. That I was like, no more. I'm done.
That's some good shit right there.
I took 3 monster hits. I'm good.
So it was honestly to just find a way to bring my grandpa's jiu-jitsu back, Rafa, and to see how his students, Eddie's students, not just thrive on that system, that he supported it 100% because he believed in it, while the gi guys are just getting like hammered with the whole leg locks and the heel hook. And some of them, I'll do it, but I won't do heel hooks. I'm like, bro, I can't put training wheels for you right now. Either you're gonna do it, or you're not gonna do it. So it was behind this whole thing, this whole new injection of jiu-jitsu that happened worldwide. I think it's a lot due to what you did, Eddie, and not just the support that you did to support these type of rules, but the recreation and the, you know, adjusting and creating new things that made it exciting for the students. So what you are is a trailblazer. And because you're not Brazilian, they might have a little bit of if with it, but you're Brazilian at heart. I know you are. I know you like that pão de queijo.
I love Brazil. Hey, guess. Did I tell you about my new project, Jiu Jitsu OT?
No.
Did I tell you about that?
No.
You don't tell me shit anymore. What happened?
What was that?
You don't tell me shit anymore. What happened?
I didn't tell you that. I thought I told you.
No.
Me and Victor are gonna experiment. We're gonna do a 16-man tournament with no regulation rounds, just straight, authentic EBI rules. EBIOT. And what's EBIOT? EBIOT is like either a rear naked shootout or an armbar shootout. That's the epitome of jiu-jitsu. So the show is called Jiu-Jitsu OT.
OT.
And the UFC loves it.
I'm just gonna explain because it stands for overtime.
I had a meeting with them like 3 weeks ago, and they fucking love.
Wow.
So we're planning on doing it. I don't know, with this whole Rona thing, it kind of threw off our schedule. So, but we're planning on doing it in July. So we'll see what happens.
Okay.
But
I don't even want to get into the. I don't even want to get into the Corona thing. I was thinking maybe we can do 2 weeks from now. We can do another one with just talk Corona and conspiracy. We go into the woods.
I'm done with Corona. I'm done with that shit. I won't even drink it. Like, fuck Corona. And I love Corona.
Oh shit, you do.
Think about that. I fucking love Corona. Corona's a 9. Get the fuck out. That's probably, when you're talking about greatest all-time beers of all time, you got to throw in Corona. It's got to be in the mix. It's got to be in the conversation. And I won't drink it no more. I won't drink it. Fuck my life up. I'm not gonna drink it. I know it's not its fault. I know it's just a beer. I don't give a shit. I'm never gonna drink Corona.
What is that, Rose?
I thought he was a Dos Equis guy. That's what you drink, Dos Equis, right?
I drink Dos Equis out of respect for them, not necessarily because it tastes better. But Dos Equis, for a while there, they don't do it anymore though. But for a while, for like maybe 10 years, their number one marketing campaign was making old men look sexy and interesting. And we have to fight for that as the male species here, because we're all going to be old. And they're the only ones trying to make old people look sexy. We need to give them more money. I don't give a shit how that beer tastes. That beer could have tasted like piss. I just drank it to support them. And
this was
show my
awesome.
love.
Look, let's try to get together again and do this again, because it was freaking. This was amazing. I had so much fun.
Let's do one. Let's do one with Renato too.
Yes, that would be cool too. That would be super cool. We'll
just talk shit on each other.
That will be like that all the time.
He hates me so much. And you know what? I used to just let it roll off my shoulders. You know, I was like, whatever. I'm used to it. Everyone hates me. I'm used to it. And then now I'm like, fuck you, Renato. Fuck you. You know what I mean?
No, but let's do it.
I never did nothing to him. He stole my logo. His Renato Laranja logo, that's the 10th Planet logo, but he just says Renato Laranja. he stole my motherfucking logo.
Yeah, he's a little inappropriate when it comes to stuff. He just doesn't give a shit. He like hits on people.
I didn't do nothing to him. He showed up to my school, started talking shit. I was just being me, you know.
Yeah. We talked about that. The episode with Renato, it's going on air on April 1st. This is gonna go a little after, but his show is going on April 1st. So whenever date we put this on, roll back to April 1st and listen to. We talked about you a lot. We talked about Rose a lot. He just can't help it.
Talk shit.
No, well, you listen. I'll send you the link when we put it up, and then we'll do we'll do like a round table with him, and we'll put the things on. We'll do the dirty laundry.
I have a final thought here. Okay. I just want my fellow Brazilians like myself to, before they say anything or judge anybody or do any of that, get to know the person a little bit. I look stupid because I used to just not like Eddie, and then all of a sudden I found out he's one
of them. You used to hate me. You see, the only reason me and Rose became friends, and we're great friends now, the only reason is because she used to be married to Javi, and Javi and me were friends. We grew up in the same jiu-jitsu community. We were blue belts together, purple belts together. He would always beat my ass in tournaments. And then he started fighting King of the Cage. I've known Javi forever. He married Rose. They had a couple kids. Rose came from, she's the most Gracie. So she's getting all the Gracie knowledge, right? And she hates me. She hates me. And Javi's like, you tell the story. You hated me, right? You used to hate me.
I really used to hate him, but hate him to the point that's like, if somebody says him, I'm like, oh God, there's this guy again. I wish he was dead. Then he would just disappear out of jiu-jitsu community altogether. Why? One time I saw him at the Gracie Academy, I was like, why is this fucking asshole in here? Like, I was like,
oh shit, you didn't tell me that one. That's fucked up, bro.
Put up with something like that. You came to the tournament over there or something like that. You remember that?
I think maybe.
And I'm like, why is this guy here? And whatnot and whatever. So I was just like, I didn't like him. I didn't like his hair. I didn't like his style, his metal stuff. Why does he have a guitar? What is this guy doing?
They hated me more than Gordon Ryan. Totally.
Look, and hated.
My hate was way stronger than Gordon Ryan.
And Eddie, she didn't change a bit, because just a couple of weeks ago she was texting someone saying, I don't want to talk to this guy. Why you keep trying to push this guy to talk to me? I don't want to. She almost said like, fuck him. That was me. Yeah.
You see with this guy's podcast? What the heck, MMA?
I don't want to fucking talk to him. You talking to him.
He's got me the pride logo. Get the hell out of here, guys.
And then, what did Javi say to you to change your mind?
He said to me, have you met him? Have you ever had a conversation with him? Give him a chance at least getting to know him. You're smarter than that. I was like, yeah, that's true. I guess I can. And then we hung out for Thanksgiving, right? Remember that?
Oh, shit.
You came up for Thanksgiving, fool.
Was that the first time we actually got to talk? No way.
Yes.
Interesting. Like, Javi just invited me, right? He just said...
Yeah, we just invited you because that girlfriend of mine wanted to meet with you. Remember that?
Oh, that one. Okay. Oh, that's right. That's right.
So I was like, yeah, whatever. And then she was hanging out with some guy that you told her the guy was gay or something, some MMA fighter. Oh, no, he did porn. He did gay porn.
MMA fighter?
That guy out on air.
Well, we don't have to know the guy's name. I'm just saying, you know who it is. If he did gay porn, you know what it was.
They're going to get a bunch of people Googling MMA fighter
right
gay porn.
That's an hour podcast, that story. Dang.
Yeah. So then I just started talking to Eddie and whatnot. And then I think when we started the tournament circuit and then I did the rules and stuff, then we really became closer. And now, you know, like I look at him, he's like my Mexican brother that I don't have. You know what I mean?
This is awesome.
You could easily be Mexican, Rose. You look totally Mexican. Totally. You could be from Tijuana easily. You can walk across the border and just walk right through the worst parts of Tijuana, and they're like, that's a Mexican bitch right there. That's a Mexican bitch. Blend right in.
That's awesome. Mr. Eddie Bravo.
You know what? Anything Mexicans consider everybody Mexican? south of them, like you're all Mexicans, you know what I mean? We're all Mexicans. They're gonna treat us all the same up here in LA. They're gonna judge all you guys based on Mexicans. So you're all Mexicans except Brazilians. We're like, they're a little bit different. They speak a different language. So it's the further south you go, the more respect Mexicans have for you. You know, like a Brazilian chick, you know what I mean? Like, damn, Brazil's exotic. Those motherfuckers party hard. They speak a totally different language. It sounds European. They're totally different. But everybody else, they're all Mexicans.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Argentinians are a little cool too. Like Chile, they're a little cool. I could see how, you know.
Chile, yeah, not exotic. Argentinians. Come on, Eddie. You know Brazilians better than that. You were doing so well, getting the love from the Brazilian guys. Now you say Argentina is cool. You just lost it all.
Hey, Argentina's, you know.
Brazilians are different and they're cool. He's just saying the Argentina, the Spanish, you can't say they're Mexican. Maybe Chile a little bit
different. I can see them getting pissed off.
Well, Colombia, that's all Mexican right there.
Yeah, Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, we're all in this together, guys. You know what I mean? No need to start segregating. We're all in it together. We might as well just use one word that we could all relate to. We're just all Mexicans. That's it. That's it.
We're not Latin Americans. We're just Mexicans.
Trust me. It's not. Trust me.
No,
that's fucking awesome.
So, Eddie, what is it that we need to do here in order to be able to get combat jiu-jitsu to show in Brazil, maybe through UFC Fight Pass or something? Because I think that's a huge thing that's missing for them to see the beauty of this. You know what I mean?
It's on Fight Pass. You guys don't get Fight Pass in Brazil?
Yeah, you get Pass in Brazil. It doesn't show combat jiu-jitsu. Only on YouTube afterwards they can watch it.
That's really? Weird. I didn't know that.
Well, Brazil trying to watch.
If you get Fight Pass, there's no way you could get Fight Pass without getting combat jiu-jitsu. It's impossible. Okay.
Well, it's
unless you know what? Unless you know something I don't, and they switched it up in Brazil.
I was in Brazil the last October show, last year October, and I was not this last year, the one before, and there was a show in October, and I was in Brazil and I was trying to watch it, and it says this show cannot be streamed in your country. Just like you want to try to watch the UFC fights here or home?
Eddie, I think it's too violent for Brazil.
Hey, can you guys see my picture right now? You guys look at them. Can you guys see me?
Yeah.
Does it look like I'm having a glowing white afro? Does it?
Yes.
Does it like I have a light bulb afro?
Yeah.
Yes.
You do have a light bulb afro.
Or my head is just blowing up with just ideas. Look at that.
And that's how I found out the other day when I cooked over at Victor's house and I cut my finger. He wouldn't even come near to see the finger. He was just like, "What finger was it?"
Oh shit!
You guys are supposed to be experts in blood, and nobody wants to come here and see them. Look at that glow right there.
That's awesome.
All right, guys.
Eddie,
this is a cool chat.
This was awesome, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
See ya.
Thanks, Eddie.